left if that's available.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Palm Springs Tower, Squawk 6250.
6250.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Palm Springs altimeter is 2985, radar contact about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, so requesting straight in for 13.
If that's available, yes please.
Remember, correction, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, land straight in runway 13 left, and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance plus 4658 is type PC final slam call request clearance to Vegas S file.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you S file, and I'll be full to demo. Plus 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas airport via Flight Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs, Victor 370 to 29 Palms, Victor 538, Cresso, join the Cresso 3 level. Maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 2405 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.7, squawk 6316.
4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Presso 3. Initially climb 7,000, expected for 0 enter 5, departure 166 hours plus 6316 plus, which is 5.
Plus 4658, readback is correct. Tango India Mike, taxi to ground via Aqua on this frequency.
Taxiing to the RAM, remain on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 237 Charlie Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237, Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left, traffic. Left downwind, runway 26, left, report base.
Enter left downwind 26 left, and record your base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower United 242 on the visual for 20 right, we'll be turning for a right base start.
United 242, John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170 at 13.
Clear to land, 20 right, United 242.
Papa Hotel Tango 228 Kilo ILS runway 24.
Here 520 Yankee Kilo Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 1. Number 237, Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land 7 Charlie Alpha.
Palm Springs ground plus 4658 is traffic to weather going for taxi.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs ground, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Trail right via Echo Brown 465.
Riverside Tower, good morning. November 290 Alpha with you on the ILS.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, good afternoon. Runway 9 cleared low approach, report missed.
November 290 Alpha, cleared low approach, runway 9. Next report is missing.
Palm Springs Tower plus 4658 ready to go to right side brown.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs Tower, runway 31 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff to right plus 465.
Papa Hotel India 568 Kilo Kilo 24.
Here's our Yankee Kilo Rush, taxi into the ramp via Alpha.
Via Alpha.
Plus 4658, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure 465.
Cessna 7 Charlie Alpha is clearly active, taxi to the GA parking base.
Hey guys, welcome.
Charlie Alpha.
Good to see you, Scotty. Yeah, you were first. How are you? How are you doing? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Another day of flying. It's busy. Also on the PilotEdge network. Just been looking to some awesome streams. Sniper, good to see you as well. Welcome, guys. Man, it's such a hot summer day today in the Netherlands. It's actually kind of distracting from doing work. It's,
Number 03 Alpha, departure frequency will be 135.4.
135.445.
yeah. So guys, we're going to do something very, very interesting. But before I'm going to introduce you to what we're up to today, I've got something interesting. And that is Discord. So I know that some of you have been already poking me to start up Discord. And to be honest, I wasn't aware what Discord actually was. Up to now. Because apparently Discord is something like a Skype for gaming, but a little bit more than that. It offers text-based and voice-based chat for free, but it allows also for communities to gather and text chat and voice chat. I've learned that apparently a lot of streamers use Discord. It's an app also on your mobile or on your desktop computer, also on the web. It's a great platform actually. Is used for off-stream chat, kind of like a FBO lobby that we could host, or that Discord then hosts, or that I'm hosting from my account, where we can all gather, if you like, to chat also off-stream, in between stream. And now we'll I've already posted some stuff there, also some free goodies for you guys to download, checklists, my traffic pattern diagrams. So if you follow that link below, discord.gg/ and then that code, that will bring you right to my server. And if you don't have an account yet, it will guide you through setting up an account, and you'll drop in my Discord chat room almost, my lobby, instantly. And we can just freely chat. It's really, really fun. And actually, a lot of other streamers also have their own Discord chat room or server that it's called, or channels. So John Fly, Cat Strader, Berlin's, all the guys. And I thought, what a nice idea. So I created that Discord server myself as well, and you guys are all welcome to join in. I will also do some announcements, obviously, before I'm going to stream, so some news there exclusively there on Discord, those free goodies that are there. We can freely chat, but you can also meet up with other fans that are following the Uncertified Pilot that are also interested in using flight sim for serious flight training. So I think it's a nice kind of hangar almost, where we can chat in between streams. So that's important. I will put an announcement also during the stream today, only for today, so that any one of you who are also following me on YouTube are aware of this new Discord server as well, and we can all gather and just have fun. That's the idea. Sniper, already there, Tim. I just don't speak Dutch. No, that's true. I've already I've been chatting in the Discord server with Avanek, who's also a Dutch PilotEdge simmer. So ignore the Dutch. We will talk English from now on. So please message something there so everyone knows that English is also a language there. And what's also fun, I've also made a channel there, which might be fun, for screenshots, where we can share screenshots of PilotEdge or fun streams or whatever. So again, just a nice hangar talk in between streams, because to me, flight simming is not only about streaming and being at the sim, but it's also in between streams where I'm reading stuff, chatting with others, making friends in the flight sim community. So I really think that, I know, Pizza No Glory is also in the Discord. Great guys. Well, come over. It's interesting. So that's an announcement, which I think is really great, that I will also repeat several times throughout the stream. Now, for today, also an interesting stream, I think, challenging at least. So there's the announcement that I will put off for now. What we're going to do is fly from John Wayne. What I'm going to do, but I need your help, guys. I'm going to fly from John Wayne to Ontario. And that is actually the all-day V3 rating on PilotEdge, I believe. I don't know for sure. It looks like this. So you've got John Wayne there. Obviously also, guys, now in my training, my own assigned training, I'm now flying in Charlie airspaces. So this is the first short-range flight, cross-country flight. Officially, though, a cross-country flight only counts when it's more than 100 nautical miles. This one is clearly not, but I will. I call this a short-range, a short-distance cross-country flight from one Charlie airspace to the next. And as you can see here, John Wayne, very, very interesting. And here is Ontario, tucked into deltas and, well, not. Well, a part of a Bravo. It's really complex. So that's why I also named this stream Dancing in Between Aerodromes, because this is actually quite interesting. So what we're going to do is just, again, a very brief flight, but a dense one, which I think is really, really interesting and covers also a lot of aspects about flight following and Charlie airspace. And again, emphasizes how short-range flights can be very, very, very fun, and even more challenging than long-distance ones. And Ibiza, good to see you. Discord hype, exactly. Lex, good to see you as well on the stream. Can you post that Discord link? Well, if you can see it on the channel page. So if you go to my channel page on Twitch and you scroll down through all the different boxes, you'll see the link there as well. I've also programmed the bot here on the chat bot to repeat every now and then what the Discord link is, and I will also put up a banner once in every while. So there's no, you will not escape that Discord link, and you're very, very welcome to join. Stradman, good to see you. It's the V2. Oh, all right, that's the V2 rating of PilotEdge. This one from John Wayne to Ontario, which is really, really cool. I was a little bit hesitant to fly today because of the weather, but it was actually improving. Now we've got VMC on John Wayne, but the weather was actually worse, which is not surprising because usually in the morning, locally there, the weather is not that good at night. And so when the sun goes up and it starts to warm up, the weather gradually improves. Even though now locally here in Amsterdam, we're already in the evening time. So usually at night here, locally in the Netherlands, the weather is usually okay in the LA area. So as you can see, we've got VMC, greenish. We've got variable winds, 5 knots, which is great. 8 statute miles and clear skies. That's great. An hour ago, there were just some few clouds and stuff. Also some haziness, but that is already dissipated, so that's great. You can also see this is the TAF, so the forecast, local, just local for the airport. You can see on top is more like a more long range forecast. So the first chunk, I don't know if you guys can see, I cannot zoom this stuff in, but it's the first row there of 201732 Zulu, that's the time currently. And then you can see a forecast of 24 hours. So the first 2-digit, 20, is actually the date, so it's currently the 20th June. Then 18 is of 1800 Zulu. And then after the slash is 21, so that's tomorrow, up to 1800 Zulu. So this is a forecast of a 24-hour forecast, which is very, very general, very, very generic, but it is useful to have an idea of what the weather is doing. The wind will remain variable, 5 statute miles of visibility, haziness, and few clouds at 1,000. If we go to the next rule, VMC, that concerns the, well, literally a forecast for the next few hours. As you can see, the 20th, 2100 Zulu. We're currently at 1800 Zulu. You can see in the top left corner of ForeFlight there. So it's, this is far ahead, but you can see it will remain VMC. The wind will get a bit stronger. It is also as expected as the day progresses, right? 6 statute miles of visibility, not that much, but clear skies. So that's great. And then the weather gets worse, will worsen throughout the night. Great. Now let's also check just to make sure for Ontario. METAR again, 4 knots of wind, so that's comparable to John Wayne as we would expect. 9 statute miles of visibility, clear skies, and forecast green all the way. Perfect, right? Alex, great, welcome. I can see you're already busy typing. Great, guys. Put your messages there. You're very, very welcome in the Uncertified Pilot hangar. Okay, so that's gonna be the flight. We've got some marginal VMC here to the north, but because we're flying quite marginally, or very locally, I should say, we don't need to concern ourselves with a huge weather briefing, even though in the real world that is always very, very important to do. I am a little bit curious though what kind of marginal VMC weather is hanging north of us, so that we know. Well, as you can see, that's mostly visibility wise. So you can see still clear skies, but 5 statute miles of visibility. So between 3 statute miles of visibility and 5 statute miles of visibility, that's the marginal VMC stuff. So legally, as VFR pilots, we're still legally allowed to fly in marginal VMC. But if you look at your personal weather limitations or visibility limitations, actually 5 statute miles of visibility can already be quite daunting and challenging and something for you to stay away of. So that's also why marginal VMC is brought to life. So to warn pilots to say, well, okay, you're still legal to fly here, but it's getting dangerous, it's getting risky. Okay, so that's visibility, so that's fine. Okay, then the actual flight. So what we're going to do is depart from John Wayne, and because John Wayne is a very busy airport and we've got a lot of airspace here, we will get departure instructions more than we did with previous Charlie airports. For example, with Santa Barbara, we're just assigned a runway, we take off, and we switch over to departure, and that's it. And usually we will just receive instructions just to follow our own navigation and go VFR, and that's it. But at John Wayne, because it's such a busy airport and because there's so much airspace here around, we get instructions. And usually that's a heading and also an altitude or ceiling of an altitude. I believe. I don't remember that well anymore, but I believe we'll get a don't go up, don't climb through, or stay below 2,400 feet or so. Something like that, until we are clear of the surface area here of John Wayne, or the surface core airspace here. Or something like that, and then they say, resume on nav and have a good time, right? So that's interesting. We'll get some departure instructions. But what's most interesting and also challenging for me is, as soon as we already departed John Wayne, we are already prepping, or we should already prep ourselves for arriving at Ontario. So it's going to be a very quick change. So as soon as I think we will be assigned from tower to departure, right, as we depart from John Wayne. But then a few minutes after already, I think that the departure controllables say switch over to approach, and that's going to be the approach of Ontario. And there's something interesting going on there, at least in my case, what I wasn't really aware of. Let me see the frequencies. We've got, again, Ontario is also a huge airport. It's still Charlie, but it's a huge airport. As you can see, they have multiple approach controllers, frequencies, that are all mostly governed by just one guy on PilotEdge or a woman. But still, right? So we can expect already, or can we look at what kind of SoCal approacher or frequency we're going to get, because we're coming in from the southwest, right? So southwest SoCal approach. It's still called SoCal, not Ontario approach, but SoCal approach. 135.4. That is what I'm expecting. Now, what's interesting is, once we are assigned, or what's good to remember, or what's important to know, is that as soon as we are switched over from, I guess, John Wayne departure or SoCal departure there to Ontario, I believe that we will be switched over. As soon as I also check in with SoCal approach on the Ontario side, I should also mention that I already have the weather. But it's interesting because the approach controller is actually there already expecting arriving airplanes for Ontario. Now, if I wouldn't provide the weather information, they would say, do you have the weather already? Because we're already quite close, right? So before we even talk to the tower, we should be already in sync with the weather information. So what I will do is also before taking off of John Wayne, also sign into the ATIS of Ontario already, so that I already have the ATIS. Because I don't like to fiddle around with ATIS frequencies while I'm here in the midst of my en route leg here, which is very, very brief, and I need to switch around and do stuff. So that's a mental note for this particular flight, but there's more. Hey Face, good to see you. Hi guys, here you can see the bot, the chat bot, also mentioning the link there that you can follow to get into Discord. But there's more, because once we get near to Ontario, you see this soup of airspace, right? So, and what's important here to know is that because we are on approach or talking with TrackIR radar controllers, those guys cannot say anything about what we can or may not do in deltas. And as you can see, there are two delta airports here. Chino is one, up to 2,700 feet, as you can see, but not including the 2,700th feet. So actually this airspace goes up to 2,699 feet. Now, that's perhaps a bit weird, but it's not that weird because we've also got a shelf here, a Charlie shelf, outer shelf here of Ontario. And as you can see, that shelf starts at 2.7, right? So that's why they don't include the 2,700th feet of Chino. But there's another Delta airport also to the east side. We've got Riverside here, also up to 2700 naturally. So we cannot bash through either of these Delta airspaces while we are arriving at Ontario, even though we're on flight following, because the flight following guys do not contact. I mean, we could request a transition, but then we need to switch over to Chino, ask the transition, and then we're already quite close to Ontario. So I don't think that is a good idea. So that's why I thought, well, let's go to Paradise VOR and also go over Redlands or Corona. It's Corona. It's also a very, very nice tucked away non-towered airport that I would visit, like to visit also one day here near a lake. So we go to Corona and go to Paradise and then sneak ourselves in between these two Delta airports, as you can see, the airspaces, while we're descending. And I guess we're going to get a left base entry for Ontario. And those are runways 26 left and 26 right. So 26 left or so. That's what I'm expecting. So I think that is interesting and challenging, right? It's Stratman was right. It was the V2, the old V2 rating of PilotEdge, and yeah, it's a worthy rating. Hey Kimo, good to see you. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Lex, how can you see it's a Delta airport? Well, you can see by the color. So there are different airspaces, and well, this. Again, this requires some teaching. If you're really interested in this stuff, head over to the YouTube channel of PilotEdge. Keith has done really wonderful, very extensive workshops of a few hours or so about airspace and everything you need to know about sectionals, just for free. It's really awesome information. But the abbreviated explanation would be that and every airport has its own airspace, and depending on how much traffic is going and how big the traffic is, there are different kind of airspaces. So the most basic airspace, the most simple airspace is Delta airspace. And that is indicated on the sectional by blue dashed lines. And as you can see here, you can see them going here as a circle. You can also see that the airport itself is bluish, also indicates, it's not really true, because here on Ontario that's also blue. So no, it's really this shelf here. And that indicates Delta. Now, a Charlie class airport has this magenta line. These are thick lines, right? And then we also got Bravo. Those are these here. This more light bluish thick sections here. And those go all the way down to LAX. So imagine, because there are so many airports, airplanes, and they are so huge, and they need to start with their descent already so early because they're very high up. The Bravo airspace sections here already start near Ontario, right? And you can see also here Ontario is expecting much larger aircraft, and so the airspace is much bigger than a smaller Delta airport. Still on a Delta airport you can land with a Learjet or, well, pretty much with any airplane mostly. But still, that's kind of like the idea. Face the Boo, do you think we have hours of time? Well, we are indeed going to keep it with this very brief explanation, but it's just fun to talk about these sectionals and charts. And that's also what I think PilotEdge sparked in me, aside from the community and meeting all with you guys, having live ATC. It's also just giving access to the wonderful system or intellectual dimension of flying. It's really fun to understand what how the airspace works. So yeah, that's another reason to subscribe to PilotEdge and start enriching or empowering your flight sim hobby. It's really, really great. 777, hey, good to see you. Welcome on the stream. Okay, guys, Lex, yeah, you should look up those videos. Yeah, you should really. I actually rewatched those videos also, and I'm also going to start with the IFR videos that Keith has done also for free there on the YouTube channel to prep my IFR rating, which I cannot wait to start with. But first, my VFR stuff. This is our flight, guys. So, gone and away. Again, for those who are new, Discord. I have started a Discord channel, which is sounds more exciting to me than perhaps it is to you. But if you like the channel, if you like to chat with me also off stream, and also like to get your hands on some free goodies, checklist, traffic pattern diagrams, all the stuff that I made is free to download if you connect to my Discord channel, and we can freely chat and can meet up with you guys. You can teach me even off stream, so you're very, very welcome to connect. So I will keep that announcement there for just a while, and you can hop over. Okay, let's get serious here, guys. So we are currently on John Wayne. And it was busy, and as you can see, we've got some clouds because xEnviro doesn't sync well with actual METAR information apparently, which is kind of like a bummer. So as you can see here, it's almost like broken layer, so we cannot even depart here because as VFR-PilotEdge we should remain clear of clouds because we need to have that visual separation, right? We're not on IFR. So what I'm going to do is, turn off xEnviro, because the basic weather system of X-Plane seems to be a bit better. Also, in the previous stream, I had really heavy turbulence on John Wayne, which is also was quite fun and exciting, but it wasn't at all part of the real weather. So I guess I have to wait for the next upgrade for xEnviro because it gets a bit annoying. Even though xEnviro looks gorgeous, I will stick to X-Plane's default weather. So that's what we're going to do. And as you can see, clear skies, not a lot of winds. So that's great. John Wayne, beautiful John Wayne. Hop into the cockpit. So, man, it's so hot today here in the Netherlands. It's really it's like what was it? 29 degrees Celsius here. Wow. And even here now in my cockpit, I've got a quite small room here, which I really like, obviously. Just decorated entirely in the theme of aviation. But with my computer here on, and with my lights on for the stream, it gets quite hot. So I'm hoping that there will be a breeze coming from the hallway here that will keep me a bit cool. But guys, wow. Good that you post, Kimo, the link to the PilotEdge workshops. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do is first close the door. Very good. Also connect my TrackIR here. Good. Let's first do a cold and dark check. Parking brakes are set. Let's pretend we've got live vest there, and the fire extinguisher is in the green. Good, and door is closed. Window is closed. ELT is set to auto. This stuff, well, yeah, no heat, and I would like all the cabin air to be here if possible, but well, unfortunately, that's not interactive. At least. No. Flap lever is up, and are also the flaps up themselves? Yes. Mixture works, throttle works, my trim works. Already set the fuel tanks to both. This stuff we all don't need yet. Circuit breakers are nicely tucked in. And this seems to be right as well. Everything is off except for the beacon, and my switch panel works too. Awesome. Then, before we're going to start, I'd like to know that my flight controls work. So my yoke to the right, that one goes down. Perfect. I never heard about a story where there was some kind of damage when by which the yoke was inadvertently connected suddenly with ailerons. Perhaps, I guess only after an annual or so, and the engineer or someone would make a drastic mistake there. But that's why it's also important not only to look whether those ailerons go down, but also to see whether they are going down the right way, right? In relation to your yoke. The same applies to our elevator here. Good. Let's also check the trim. Also a good addition to my checks. Because still you can see, also when you do your external walk around, you can check whether the trim tab actually works over there at the tail. But you would also like to know that the trim wheel here is actually connected and does actually work. So that's why if you pull on the yoke, you can have a closer look. And the pedals work as well. Great. Then we can put on some power here. See, we've got enough fuel. I'm restarting this flight each and every time from scratch. So that's why I always stick at around 16 gallons in each tank. Well, I don't care that much. Yeah, Kimo, it's really hot. You're also, you're also residing here in the Netherlands, you know, as well. Okay, So, batteries are on. Good. Let's, we've got enough fuel. Avionics turned on. We're going to set that really, really soon. But first, I'd like to know whether my flaps are also actually working. They go down, and they go down in sync as well. Very, very important additional check, because if they don't go down in sync, you can perhaps imagine what's going to happen. And that can actually also happen here in X-Plane. You've got an additional out of the blue aileron effect, right? Which is quite nasty. So that's why it's important to see whether or not that the flaps go down, but also go down at the same rate. Okido. Then this we're not going to set right soon because we're going to turn off the avionics anyway. But I do like to know.
And Fox Tower number 6-1 East extra short of 2-4 radar.
Let's turn off the comm radio there. Annunciator panel. Yep, those warnings work. Great. Are nicely in sync here with the heading indicator. Perfect as well. 2 zeros already set. Again, fuel set and set anything here. So avionics off. That means that we can start our engine. So I will fasten my seatbelt and do one more abbreviated briefing of the flight. Because this is going to get tense, guys. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to depart from John Wayne. Let me also take the chart here. Yeah, that's exactly the same spot where I was, where I'm still parked from the previous stream. So I'm where the circle is. So I'm expecting to get a taxi Alpha, then hotel to Charlie to Kilo. The 20 left at Kilo departure. It's actually an intersection departure. Yeah. Then we're gonna depart. And we're going to get assigned over to departure. We'll also get some departure instructions this time, and heading to fly, and not and a particular altitude to fly, I guess, or not to go higher than 2,400. I remember something like that. And as we turn around to Ontario, we will already get assigned over to Ontario approach, which is going to be 135.4, I believe. Ontario frequencies. Approach southwest. Yeah, 135. I guess that's going to be the frequency, and we should then already know about the weather of Ontario because the approach controller likes to know. So I'm already going to check the ATIS of Ontario before we take off, which is going to be quite interesting. We're going to fly to Paradise VOR. And there's a very important route here to fly because I don't like to bash into those deltas, right, of Chino and Riverside. So I'd like to sneak just in between because I need to descend already to get to Ontario. Also on fly following, by the way, but well, as I already explained, flight following doesn't allow us to fly through tower or delta airspace. What altitude are we going to fly? Well, we can see some terrain here at 3,000, so I'd like to be quite clear of that terrain, obviously. So we're going to the east. So yeah, I would also like to stay low because we need to descend already quite quickly. So I would say 3,500-ish, guys. What do you think? CMDR, you have a seatbelt on your computer chair. Yes, I do have an actual seatbelt on my chair, and I love it since episode 1. It actually does a lot in terms of context, or it does make a change, at least to me, but I'm a really silly av geek, I guess, so aviation geek. But 3,500, would that be okay, guys? Kimo, if you have contact, you can fly through the Delta with flight following. That's not true. So you can only fly through Charlies, but not through Deltas, because Deltas are controlled by tower controllers. We could then switch over to a tower frequency and ask for a transition, but that is a lot of fiddling with the frequencies just before we're reaching Ontario. So it's not true that with flight following you can fly through a Delta. I will call you Viper, sir. Welcome on the stream. Okay, I would say 3,500, but it's getting close to this terrain. Now, obviously, we can circumvent that terrain by grabbing a particular radial towards Paradise. That will, yeah, I guess that is the best procedure. So let me remove this waypoint. I can. Can I remove it? No, I guess through flight plan. That is that one. Delete. Thank you. And then we'll go something like, well, something like this. So remain clear of the delta in on the top. Yeah, and that's going to be a heading of 55 degrees inbound to Paradise VORs. That's what we're going to set soon. And then that way we can remain clear of the terrain. And as soon as we hit Paradise, we're going to go up, and we can fly an outbound radio as well. And can set the nav2 also on the same radio, on the same VOR frequency. That's going to be 343 or 345. Yeah, so that's going to be the procedure. Okay. So that's the brief, and I will expect a left base arrival here on runway, well, 26 or 2 right, I think, of Ontario, but we'll see. Okay, so that was the brief. Not that abbreviated, sorry guys, but important to do. Are you sitting comfortably, guys? Let's start our engines, right? Or engine, I should say. Again, parking brakes are set, fuel tanks set to both. Trim is set. Good, we're going avionics are off. That's very, very important. Battery is still on, which is was kind of unnecessary for this whole briefing stuff. Been depleting the battery for a bit. Let's see if we still got enough power to pump. Pump on. Mixture full in. 3, 4 seconds or so. Mixture out. Fuel pump off. Mixture a bit in, or throttle a bit in, I should say. Parking brakes are still set. Yeah, okay. No one is around. No, clear prop. Mixture full in. Needles back to both. 1200. Check for oil pressure within 30 seconds. It's already in the green, which is great. Lean for ground a bit. Max peak, something like this. Reset for 1,000 to 1,000 and turn on our generator. And meter rise, so our battery is now charging off of the engine. Very, very good. Then avionics on. Turn on mode C, very important, so the controllers know also our altitude. More information is now transmitted to the controllers. 1200 is VFR. We're going to get a squawk code as soon as we want to request flight following, but still. Now we need to set frequencies. So first Paradise, right? And that was 112.2. 112.2. That's a good switch. Yeah, 112.2. Double check. Also, I'm going to set that in the nav2, 122.2, because I'm going to use 2 different radials, one inbound and one outbound. So as you can see, we already got a reading, which is to be expected. So first, we're going to catch this radial inbounds, and we're going to get, well, 55. Yeah, that's what I said. 55. Um, 55, he said. Yeah, 55. And the other one, the outbound, was 343, 345-ish. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, it's very small letters, but 343. So again, the trick with this stuff is that you get as prepared as possible. So now I can just fly the radial here of the nav1 and until it hits the center. I'm going to follow that all the way along until we get 0 on the DME. We also got some GPS here, and I guess also in the real world it's a death trap not to, or a death wish not to fly with GPS in all of this airspace. But still, let's just focus on radio navigation first. So that's what I'm going to do, fly this stuff on the DME, and as soon as we hit the Paradise, we're going to fly upwards northbound. Following this particular radial, but then we'll know for sure that we avoid that delta airspace while we are descending. Okay, that makes sense. Then the frequencies. So we are on John Wayne. Frequencies are over here. Again, I guess that's already set. Still, I need to have my COM2 here. That's 126.0. Okay, that's already the ATIS of John Wayne, but I also like to have the ATIS of Ontario, right? And that is 124.25. 124.25. So that's a simple switch. Good. And then our COM1, and that's gonna set to a clearance delivery first, because I'd like to have flight following. We've got two frequencies, 118.0 and 121.85. What do we need? Well, I would expect on this airport diagram that there would be in between brackets, again, the same kind of thing that is happening here with ground, so you know what frequency to check in with. So let's see if ForeFlight has hidden that information somewhere else. Clearance. Just clearance delivery. There are multiple. Perhaps the airport facility directory. And again, it's not a big deal. Otherwise, they will just refer you to another frequency. But let's see if we can look it up. Departure here. No. That's just tower. No, it's the same clearance delivery here. So let's pick 118.0. We're gonna see COM1 118.0. That's set. And from clearance we're gonna go to ground, and we're currently on the east side, so 120.8. That's already set. Yeah. So as soon as we are on ground, we're gonna set tower, and we're gonna shift through all our COM1 standby so that we keep prepared, right? It's almost like you're flying ahead of time mentally. You're already flying a few miles ahead almost. Okay, that's good. That means that we can set our COM1. No, first my ATIS.
Orange County, John Wayne Information Zulu. 1800 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 22, dew point -17. Altimeter 2985. Arriving runways 02 left, 02 right, departing runways 02 left, 02 right. Advise on initial contact.
You have Zulu. No, that was not the right one. That one. Okay, we got Zulu. Hey, Aitke, yeah, the MoveBot is very sensitive for I guess caps lock or excessive use of symbols, so I need to reset that, sorry. Okay, so we are gonna request flight following at 3,500 to Ontario. We've got Zulu, right? So because it's gonna be a long announcement, I'm just gonna grab the attention of the controller first. Also, what strikes me is that now on 118.0, which was the clearance delivery frequency, I don't hear anyone. 118.0. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. John Wayne clearance, good day. Sky Popper Del Tango Mike with a VFR request.
HBFCL, Con John Wayne Tower 126.8.
The frequency works, at least.
John Wayne Tower, good morning. Table Foster Charlie Lima, choose the right lineup.
HBFCL, John Wayne Tower 120 right.
Choose the right.
Oh, Kimo, good. Thanks for sharing. Didn't know.
PHTIM, John.
Papa Delta Mike is currently on the east ramp with information Zulu, requesting flight following to Ontario at 3,500. Slant Alpha. Didn't mention that. Let's see if he cares.
PHTIM, correction, John Wayne clearance on departure flighting 330, maintain VFR out of below 2,400. Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 3716.
Nice. After departure, heading 330 will stay below 2,400, departure frequency 128.1, and squawk is 3716.
PHDIM read correct.
Nice. That's also what I like about flying on flight
16180
following.
X-ray contact, SoCal approach 134.2.
Is that it kind of like is you're playing IFR pilot as a VFR pilot. You've got a clearance delivery, which is nice.
Runway clear.
3716. All right, we have an identity now on the radar.
PSTL, you want to,
So very important to know.
Do the westbound.
Very, very important to know. After departure, 330. Now, after departure means after 400 or 500 feet AGL. So as soon as we're taking off, around 400, 500 feet, we can already start to make our turn to 330. And, well, we can just climb. We'd like to go to 3,500. But until we are getting instructed or allowed, explicitly allowed to climb and continue our plan, we need to stick below 2,400, which is still below 3,000 AGL, so we can just stick to whatever altitude we like. So I would say 2,000 feet is fine until we are clear to go up more high. Okay, so that means that we can now switch to ground. Switch ground, that means that we now have a standby frequency available now, which we're going to set for tower, right? Thinking ahead. At least that's the idea of today. Let's go to the plate because we need to have the right frequency. So I'm going to expect 20 left as usual, right? This is the runway, 20 left. So that's going to be frequency 119.9. Good. Now we're ready to taxi, aren't we? We're gonna, yeah, so again, the brief is Alpha Hotel Charlie at Kilo 20 left. Winds, what were the winds for crosswind correction? Just to be sure. Winds were variable. Okay, so that's not really a big issue here. So we can ignore that. Yeah, nothing else that we need for taxi. We're ready to go. But I'd like to have my scratch pad in the ready. Okay. John Wayne Ground, Sky Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike, East Ramp, ready for taxi. Should I mention the weather as well? I guess so. Marcus would say that I should also mention the Zulu because it's a different controller. And the ground controller should also know that we've got the weather. 120.8. One to 0.8. Navajo, welcome. So much stuff to remember. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But it makes you make your life, your pilot life, your experience of flying much more easy and much more comfortable, and also much more enjoyable if you think ahead. So already planning up ahead is already priming your mind. So that makes so much difference. If you already got a sense of what you can expect, it becomes much more easy to process all that information rather than just go in without any knowledge, without any expectations. So that's really a key quality, I think. But we're not heard. John Wayne Ground, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango Indy Mike, East Ramp with information Zulu ready for taxi. I'm not hearing anyone. Oh, I know. Come on, should be turned on. Don't know if that means that I also did not transmit, or that the guy was already responding for 2 times by now. Let's try again. Just be oblivious. Just be just ignorant. John Wayne Ground, Sky Pop Hotel Tango Indy Mike, East Ramp with information Zulu ready for taxi. Nah. Am I missing something, guys? I don't think so. 120.8.
Papa Hotel Tango, Mike John, ground second.
Papa Hotel Tango Mike is on the east ramp with Zulu ready for taxi. Thanks for the follow.
PHKM runway 20 left, taxi Alpha Hotel Charlie Kilo.
20 left via Alpha Hotel Charlie Kilo. Papa Hotel Tango Mike. 20 left at Kilo. Okay.
Alright, 0 X-ray, it's 5% or 10 knots, whichever.
Thank you for the follow, Arclin. Welcome. Welcome on board. Let me see. Beer Biscuit, Sniper for class Bravo. You contact ADC and specifically request a class. Yeah, I know. They must give you permission. Between bit back in order. Yeah, that's you're absolutely right, Beer Biscuit. And Kima, thanks for looking that up. I didn't know that with flight following you can transition through deltas. Doesn't make sense either. Are you really sure?
San Bernardino ground.
You're welcome.
Skyhawk, Papa Hotel Alpha Victor Alpha.
Hey,
is
it's
a
Evanek.
Skyhawk Slant Alpha requesting flight following to Borrego Valley, Lima 08 at 9,500.
We're ready to go, guys.
Right,
Parking brakes released.
You got blocked twice.
Brake tests.
Is
works.
5% or
now there's a lot of ground traffic here.
True airspeed.
So I'm very wary that we don't fly into
that,
or drive ourselves into fuel tanks or we move away from the non-movement area here. So now we're officially strictly under control. We could have already taxied before that bit as we wished without any permission to relocate our airplane or to go to a fuel tank, fuel pump.
Papa Hotel Alpha Victor Alpha, Roger, standby. Other aircraft call second.
So here we go. We're currently on Alpha in the black. Hotel is coming up to the left. The basic taxi instruction here at John Wayne.
Other aircraft call second.
Small taxi or slow taxi. And I also like the remark or something that I heard a flight instructor say or an examiner say.
Commander 1 for Kilo Foxtrot, Scout approach, squawk 6353 ident.
When doing exams, PPL exams, check rides,
Papa Hotel Alpha Victor Alpha 6.
that he usually
Papa
could
Hotel Alpha Victor Alpha is
already
Skyhawk
tell
Slant Alpha
whether a student would pass his check
Valley,
ride.
Lima 08 at 9,500, and we have the weather.
Just looking at the taxi. So whether the student was already right on track, careful, taxi, right with the nose wheel on the center line here on the taxi line. That already told him very much about care and precision, and which had some predictive power for the rest of the flight, which I really liked. And I guess that doesn't count for every flight, but it's a nice thought. Clear, good. Beer Biscuit, do you mean the special VFR roads? Uncertified did that in a recent video. Good. Hey Dad, good to see you. We're on the stream as well. Now focus here on taxi. That's also the difficulty, guys, with streaming and flying at the same time. You might think that this is just a casual online party that I throw each night here with you guys to fly and chat, but actually chatting and streaming takes cognitive processing that I would otherwise can use for flying, so I'm actually much more sloppy, even though that might sound as a big excuse, and it kind of is, but still it's harder. Kilo 20 left. Again, I'm doing a run up here, which is not really allowed. I should pick a run-up. Well, it's allowed on PilotEdge, but in the real world there are run-up areas, specific run-up areas. I should do that in the next video, just to be clean. Yeah, my engine is already warm enough, so mixture full in.
Alpha Victor Alpha is at the east ramp, ready for taxi for a southeast departure.
1800 looks good. No enunciated messages.
Hotel Alpha Victor, San Bernardino ground.
Stable. Everything is nice and stable. Good. Left mag. Small enough
runway
drop.
6, taxi
back to
Alpha,
both.
Papa
Good. To right. Same kind of drop, so comparable. That's good as well. Back to both. landing lights on to see if the generator would still charge. Well, that's hardly
X-ray contact
visible here in the stock 172, but anyway. Then we go full idle to see if the engine doesn't quit on us. If the oil pressure is still there.
Palm Springs,
No shader messages.
2974.
Good. And back to 1000. We'll keep the mixture in. And we will do one last flight control test. Good. Because this stuff is really, really important. Awesome. Then we're going to switch to tower. That means we've now got a standby on COM1, right? That we can use. But what we're going to use, yeah, our departure frequency 128.1. Again, one last time, a briefing. Now in the real world, again, because in the real world is much more busy on John Wayne, we would have already airplanes waiting behind us, and so it's good to do this takeoff brief, this departure brief, while you are taxiing rather than chatting about nice stuff with you guys. It's nice also to get a rhythm to the flow of flying, I guess, which is not a habit in my case, but it's good to mention, I guess. So 128.1, that's good. So what's also very important, which I forgot a couple of times, is we've got departure instructions. So it's not going to be a straight out departure and switch to departure and that's it. 330 at 400 or 500 feet, and we'll need to stay below 2,400. So we're going to go to 2,000. We're going to make hopefully a right turn. That's 330 to the right. Right? Yeah.
Burbank Tower, Cherokee 6711
so we can
Juliet,
set that already.
On the localizer runway 8 at Buddy.
Cherokee 671 Juliet, Burbank Tower, runway 8.
And we need to
runway
listen to
8, clear to
ATIS,
land, 11 Juliet.
Ontario. Already want to know what the weather is.
Ontario INTL information Zulu.
Also Zulu.
1800
Okay.
Zulu weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10.
Great.
Sky clear.
Great.
Temperature 20.
Okay.
Dew point -17.
Perfect. So now we're rehearsed, right? Okay. We're at tower. We're ready to go. John Wayne Tower, Sky Papa Tel Tango Mike. It's only short 20 left at Kilo, ready for departure.
Papa Tel Tango Mike, John Wayne Tower, 20 left at Kilo, clip takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 20 left, Papa Tel Tango Mike. Coltrane, on the flight control test, it's also recommended to go in a square with the flight controls to feel for any binding or anything wrong with the cables. Oh, good one. Yeah, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just going through all the axes, but not in the box like. Good one, thanks for mentioning. And welcome Keith, welcome on the stream. And don't mess around with my engine this time, because this is already a quite challenging flight for me to complete here. It's the old B2 rating. Okay. It's clear. Alright, mixture in. Full power, there we go guys. So 330. Engine's in the green. Airspeed's alive, 40. It is gusty though. And 60. Why is there still turbulence? xEnviro is off. I seem to attract turbulence somehow. Whoa. Okay. So 300 feet. Man. 80, that's good.
PHIM, better contact.
Over to departure, Papa Tel Tango Mike.
Delta 262, contact Los Angeles Tower 120.95.
Now this is our 500 feet, so we're going to make that shallow turn now. 2330.
Delta 62, contact Los Angeles Tower 120.95.
So for departure, Sky Papa Tel Tango Mike is climbing through 700 to 3,500.
Go PHAM, so got departure, correction, cancel out to restriction, resume on navigation.
Resume on nav, Papa Tel Tango Mike. Okay, so that means we don't have an altitude restriction anymore, right? So 3-3, that means that we still need to fly the heading, I think. But we only don't have a altitude restriction. Well, we still need to go to the north.
62, SoCal approach, you're going to have to file a missed approach.
So we need to go to the northeast, right? Oh man, guys, I cannot
62.
look for the chat right now because
62,
again I'm
Rudder.
so focused on flying here.
Fly heading
With this turbulence.
at the shoreline. Fly heading.
So I'm gonna expect
270,
135.4. So I'm gonna tuning that
maintain
in.
3000 and contact SoCal departure. Correction, just maintain
135.4, I
3000
think.
and contact
For
SoCal
sure.
departure 125.2.
It was resume on nav. It was resume on nav and altitude restriction was cancelled. So I guess I can fly now whatever altitude I like. I believe that is. Okay, so what we can do now, then, let's just see what happens. I'd like to catch that radial here, the nav1, still while climbing. So if we fly north, we will eventually catch it, right? John Wayne is to the right of us. There it is.
JVA, ready to tower, runway 6, clip, take off.
Trimming a bit here, guys. We can set the heading bug already to 26. That's our expected runway at Ontario. Keep that speed around at 80, not too slow here. I also got some terrain here. That's the terrain that I was already talking about. So this is, I guess, the terrain at 3000, our current altitude. So that means that what was it? Corona is somewhere around there. So now we've got radio navigation, but we also got a visual reference point.
Radio actually contact SoCal approach 128.1.
Okay, 3,500 is coming up. Oh, the turbulence. Man, what is it with me and turbulence? And why is it not depicted on the
And SoCal
ATIS?
approach number 61 East X-ray 90,000 180 on the heading.
6180 X-ray. SoCal approach.
3,500.
30. Vector John Wayne Airport.
Push nose down, allow that airspeed to increase first. Don't want to go too fast with all of this turbulence here.
Alright, 030 on the heading.
Turn off.
Airport, and
I didn't turn on my strobe lights and my landing lights.
Correction, 20, right? And confirm you, just want to clarify, you said maintain 9,000 or 5,000?
5,000 per 80 X-ray.
Okay, trimming
Alright,
down.
we'll descend 5,000, 61 East X-ray.
6262, SoCal
A little bit
departure.
less power here.
Fighting 160.
And guys, Discord. I set up my Discord. Thank you for following, Ginjin man. Welcome on board.
110, Roger, taxi via Bravo, pass for the I-3.
Discord, guys, follow that link, and you can connect with me and with fans of the stream, the channel, and we can chat off stream also about flight training, and I will announce news of the channel. I also get some free goodies there, nice downloads, like a really elaborate student checklist for the Airflow Labs, Cessna, also for the A2A 172 and 182, traffic pattern diagrams. So hop over to Discord and join in on the fun. It's kind of like a hangar talk where we can just chat also in between streams. You're very, very welcome to join in. Okay, nose down, good. Needle is coming in on the nav1. With our little Cessna here in all of this airspace that we cannot see here, but it is there. Okay, a bit more power. Needle is coming in.
312 centers clearance. Did you copy? Verify your destination.
I would also lean the engine a bit here, just to get a bit more power and conserve some fuel, even though it's a small hop.
Lady 320.
That's the main reason is to prevent fouling of the plugs.
Lady J1 departure, cancel transition as it's followed. Climb the Saitek, set maintain 3000. Departure frequency 125.2, squawk 6406.
Alpha. We've got Alpha now on the radio. of the weather of Ontario. Now I should listen obviously to the entire information to have an idea of what the weather is doing, but I guess there's not a big change, but there is a change because they changed letters obviously.
8320 reback right. Delta 6262
A bit
flying
more power here,
050.
I'm really getting slow. Alright, needle is centered in nav1. We've got 90 nautical miles to go. Looking at the DME. It's good. Making that turn out. As you can see, there's the terrain, so as we expected,
PHAVA SoCal departure.
we're circumvent that peak.
2175. Ident.
Can make that turn a little bit more aggressively because the needle has already passed us. This is so much fun. Man. Isn't this, guys, this is just freaking awesome, isn't it? We're flying on a flight sim, realism, photoreal, scenery, weather, PilotEdge, real-world ATC, streaming this to you guys over the web with a hardware cockpit here and a headset, and sometimes just forget how awesome it is.
Ground PHAVA radar contact 3 miles east of San Bernardino Airport.
Ah, that's right, Keith. Yeah, so the Charlie airspaces indeed are mostly laid on top of the deltas, as we already discussed as part of the pre-flight. But still, I wasn't aware that on flight following, even if I would fly on an altitude that would direct me right through a delta, that I was able just to stick on flight following and just enter the delta. I would say that the flight following would then say switch over to the tower frequency and ask for transition. And then once you on the other side, contact me again and you can continue your flight with advisories. That's what I thought was the drill. Viper, this is photoreal scenery. This is one of the peaks of X-Plane that you can download photoreal, and it's gorgeous. This is the actual thing that you would see outside. And what's also great is that X-Plane has a great auto gem based on OpenStreetMap. I don't know for sure. Ask in the chat if you're interested. And so the roads and highways and stuff are very nicely placed on top of the photoreal, so it fits really well. All right,
6262 contact
15 nautical miles to go. Nicely on the radial. Kind of like good here, trimmed on altitude with heavy turbulence. Or heavy. Or Cessna heavy. Now Ontario will be around there. Don't know the Ontario area that well to know specifically where it is. What we're going to do, what we rehearsed to do, is that we're going to fly this radial until we hit Paradise, and then we're going to go over to the nav2, which was also set to Paradise, but then we're going to fly a outbound radial. 3, 4, 5, while we are already descending. Now we should also be wary of the traffic pattern altitude of Ontario, which I didn't check. 944, so I guess 1900.
Unless you can take a visual approach there.
Already searching here for the airport facility directory.
Delta 6260, right.
Pattern altitude 2000 feet. And I'd like to see the airport facility directory as well, to see if there's any still 12, yeah, still going good. No, I think I don't see anything there depicted here on the airport facility directory about particular altitudes to fly. So that's good as well. So 2000 it is. Should have rehearsed that before we started our flight.
XEnviro, lucky one arrival. Radar X-ray heading 100, so maintain 4,000.
100 and heading down 4,000, 618 X-ray.
Thank you, Keith, for the clarification. And thanks, Chemo, for correcting me. Again, guys, this is why I like attracting more experienced, more knowledgeable pilots here on the channel. So you guys can teach me.
Papa Hotel Tango Knee, Mike. Traffic, 11 o'clock, 2 miles eastbound altitude, case 3,700, typing on.
Looking for the traffic, Papa Hotel Mike, thanks. 11 o'clock, oh yeah, traffic inside Papa Hotel Mike. Just there. Nice traffic alert. Again, look at this scenery, guys. Can you see the trails here on the mountains that people walk or bike? Nine nautical miles to go. Still nice on track. Now we should see Corona, I think, and a lake. Because Corona was already here, right? As you can see, with the lake in front of it. It's also a reference point, which is just behind the terrain here. So it should be somewhere around here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so that's also one thing that I learned throughout the stream, was that it might indicate on a sectional that there is a lake, and this could actually be a lake, but perhaps it's more like a swamp or so. So you expect a nice blue lake, like on the sectional, but it's just a symbol, right? There's Redlands. Corona.
320 Los Angeles ground. Squawk up to.
So again, confirmed that we're still on the right track.
80X return right heading 190.
190 X-ray.
Yeah, Keith, the weather is really miserable, but what strikes me, what's weird is that there were no gusty winds reported on the ATIS, at least the X-plane, and also on ForeFlight didn't see anything of turbulence or that stuff. I didn't look at the proper weather charts though, but just at the meters and the tabs.
Vibrate 0 X-ray, 3 miles from
so
it
kind of surprised me actually. Also, we've got a question for you, Keith, that you perhaps know.
Alright, 180 and heading maintain 3,000 until established clear wireless 20 right approach 618 X-ray.
Is there...
1 Kilo Foxtrot, contact Los Angeles Center 128.6.
Was that me? I don't think so.
Commander 1 Kilo Foxtrot, contact Los Angeles Center 128.6. PHTIM, contact SoCal approach 135.4.
SoCal approach 135.4, Papa Delta Mike. As we expected, switch! Now,
1 Kilo Foxtrot, Los Angeles
also gonna mention that we've got the weather. SoCal approach, Kite Popper Tel Tango Mike is level 3500 with information alpha.
PHTIM, SoCal approach, Ontario altimeter 297, correction 286.
86 Popper Tel Tango Mike.
Purple 11,
86. 86. No, that was not 86. That was a push on the actual.
I must have typoed it. Stem.
No, it doesn't come that close, but something like this. 4 nautical miles to go.
110, you have a confirmation here. It is entered.
No, Viper, it's not xEnviro.
6260, turn left.
Because I turned it off.
270.
Yeah, Nietzsche, welcome on the stream. Man, I don't know. I think I'm attracting this stuff. Hello, explain. Thank you. So I guess we already passed.
6180 X-ray, John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right.
Corona. 3 nautical miles to go. There goes the needle already. Still some nautical miles to go, and then we're gonna fly the outbound radial, and that will fly us in between those deltas. At least that was the idea. Yeah, Viper. Traffic there, military traffic it seems, on my 2 o'clock, high up. Not a factor, but...
Legion 320. Thank you. Stand by 1.
Okay.
Dub 6262, 4
Not
miles
there yet.
from Honda.
2 miles.
Correction, 4 miles from the gate. Verify your heading is 270. Looks like you're about 280. If you're 270 there, fly heading 260.
Rambling cockpit.
Maintain 3000 until established localizer. Cleared ILS runway 25.
Oh, guys. But it's fun though, isn't it? And again, guys, for those who are new. Oh, I already put the announcement of all the time. Discord. Yeah. So I set up my own Discord. So guys, if you like to chat off stream as well.
I didn't have any. I said stand by.
About all flight simming, about news about the channel, and also to get your hands on some free goodies, downloads, checklists for the Airflow Labs 172 that I made, A2A 172, 182. Hop over to Discord, and there are some download links there. All right, I think we're on top. So now I'm switching my attention to my nav2. Fly a little bit more westbound to catch that radial. What we could do is already start our descent a bit, I guess. More northbound, I should say. Not southbound, because the radial is right of me. So I'm already gonna reduce power here. I like to stick a little bit more north here.
Number 1 Kilo Fox radar service termination.
All right, landing lights on.
No traffic observed.
We could already try to spot Ontario. Again, I'm not familiar with the city layout here to know where it is. Oh, I can see it, I guess. It's over here.
DHTIM. Looks like you're making a piece that works. Contact tower 120.6.
Over the tower 120.6, probably tilting your mic. Okay. 120.6. 120.6. Oh, don't need to fly off now. 120.6. Switch the tower. Okay, we've got Alpha, and we are, well, 6 miles southeast. Ontario Tower, Skypop Hotel Tango Mike is about 6 miles southeast of the airport, currently at 2,700. Inbound for a full stop, we have Alpha.
Papa Hotel Tango Mike, Ontario Tower, and our left base, runway 26 left, clear to land.
Left base, 26 left, and clear to land, 26 left, Papa Hotel Tango Mike. Again, as we expected. So I already have a model or an idea of what he's asking me.
Los Angeles Tower, Legion
and so it's much more easy to process all of that information while I'm doing all of this stuff.
Clear takeoff 24 left, Legion 20.
That helps. What also helps,
483 November Mike at the cutter, correction, at the,
aside
ramp
from
the FBO,
being more able to process all of that information, is that when you get
L1.
another instruction, a different instruction, you can more easily double check whether the controller hasn't made it a mistake, which happened once for me. So you also become more critical.
Air 43 November Mike, San Bernardino ground.
Landing with Alpha.
Correction.
Keith, you're making fun of me.
San Bernardino Tower.
2,000 feet, traffic pattern altitude, coming up.
Roger, westbound departure is
Full stop landing information, landing with Alpha.
But
Keith, isn't it?
This is for the
But it does make a difference, right? To state whether you have a full stop landing or touch and go is not a landing. There's only one, or a stop and go is also not a landing. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're getting.
You're on the wrong rate. You're on
landing
the wrong
with
rate,
Alpha.
so check your radio.
Okay. All right, so we're already
contact Los Angeles Tower.
Slower than 100 knots. That's good. So we can already set our 1 notch of flaps, but the airport is over here. So I still have a way to go. We can also already start a descent,
Tower,
I guess, a bit.
Delta 6262.
Just any other traffic here on 26 left.
For runway 25 left.
Delta 6262 Los Angeles Tower, runway 25.
Now, one thing I
left
haven't
one.
rehearsed right now is the ground frequency for
Clear to
Ontario,
land,
but
runway
well, I'm not going to fiddle
left.
with the frequencies right now here on the
62,
base lag. All right, now we're getting kind of nice distance from the airport, so nose a bit up.
And
Throttle a
Johnny
bit
Tower
lean.
618
There we
straight,
go.
straight clear
One
of
notch of
20
flaps.
red at
Push
Echo
down on
One
that
landing.
nose.
Right, 0 X-ray, taxi to Atlantic via Echo Alpha, monitor ground
Good.
120.8.
Again,
Echo Alpha to ramp
keep
and
that
monitor
heading bug to my left here.
0.86 instruction.
All right, landing lights are on. Mixture full in. Fuel tank set to both. Good. Parking brakes are released. Yeah. Can you imagine that, landing with parking brakes on? It happens, I can tell you. It's not pretty. Okay, in the white band, second notch of flaps. Focus on that runway. Again, I could also try to land with just 10 degrees of flap because of this strong wind gusting around me, because that probably makes my flight a bit more stable. But I tried this on John Wayne last time and it worked quite well actually with 20 degree flaps.
Tower,
So
helicopter November. Mike, looking to get an early frequency change over to
there's the runway,
Ontario
26
approach.
left. You're already clear to land. Keep that nose up.
Over to, thanks.
4 wides, we're too high. Nose down trim. Alright. There we go. Plenty of runway. So what we could do is, rather than... Sorry, really fighting this turbulence. Rather than losing our altitude here, as you can see, the airport ramp, the ramp is over there. So there's not a need for us to land already on this spot, because we're also not an airliner. We don't need that much runway to slow down, so I can already touch down over there so we can make a much quicker hop off of the runway near the ramp, and it takes less time for us. I guess that's okay, but I'm not an expert, but I think that is allowed.
43 November, make SoCal approach squawk 2051.
Okay,
Ident and,
let's see if we can do a smooth touchdown with this turbulence. Winds were coming from the right to the left, I just saw on the windsock.
Legion 320 contact departure.
Still quite fast.
Departure Legion 320.
Ballooning a bit, quite a bit. Okay, now it's dangerous not to fall down too quickly. Well, it was okay, but not that great. Okay, flaps up, so we stick better to the runway, onto the runway.
Legion 320, SoCal departure, radar contact.
And this might be a great taxiway
Confirm climb via
for
SID.
us to pick, right? And that is Papa. Well, that's a bit too fast. But hey, get our butt behind the threshold. And there we are. Awesome! Landing lights off, strobe lights off. To 1,000, lean for ground, open a window. Look cool. Yeah. Ontario Tower, Sky Papa Delta Mike is clear to 6 left.
Papa Tango India Mike, taxi parking via Sierra, enjoy your day.
Via shared parking, thanks for your help, Papa Delta Mike. Okie doke. Again, make sure no one is here. A little bit of a boring airport. I would expect it to have some scenery here, but... Is there a scenery package, guys, of Ontario? Because clearly I don't have it installed. Keith, I've seen Uncertified show better judgment than many certified pilots I know. Oh, Keith. Thank you. I thought I could taxi all the way down to the
483, remember Mike,
ramp
from
here,
the radar
but
contact 5
I guess
miles
not.
west of the San Bernardino Airport.
So let's just park
Ontario
over
altimeter
here.
2986 and transition.
Okay.
Charlie airspace out above 3,000.
So that's it. Again, I'd like to switch my transponder back to VFR in case. And again, I don't know whether the stock actually. I think there is a system now in X-Plane with X-Plane 11 that saves
Tower,
up.
This is Delta 6262. I'm clear.
That saves the state of the sky, kind of like A2A did for the first time and prepared. So, from that thought, I thought, let's reset the transponder to 1200 and also now off. So when I switch on my avionics, the next flight, I don't transmit my old squawk code. Okay, that's that. Lights are all off. Good. Avionics off first. Kill the engine. Then the magnetos. Then the batteries. And park and brake set. We open the door. Also cross-feeding here. We can reset the trim, which I should have already done after, before we taxied here to the ramp. And did it! Haha! That went pretty well. It was challenging though, but thanks Dad, thanks Sniper, thank you guys. I was telling some PPL about your first engine out in the pattern the other day. Oh, thanks Keith, that was interesting as well, and thanks again for that engine out. What's also quite strikes me is that you can do these flights quite repetitively, especially traffic pattern flying. But the real power, obviously, I think, of flight simming, especially when you progress a little bit through your program, through your training, is aeronautical decision making. And well, that comes into play with trouble, right? When shit hits the fan. So I really appreciate you being on the stream regularly and hitting some shit on my screen here, like a pitot tube that is stuck or engine out or that stuff, because well, yeah, obviously, then that aeronautical decision-making comes to place. And I also think that decision-making determines what kind of pilot you are, what your skill level is, other than just being able to do a soft touchdown. So, again, thanks there. And that really means a lot, that compliment there. Sniper, does RP Realistic deal with turbulence? Maybe that is why you are getting it all the time. No, it isn't. It's just it's a nice package, especially when you use TrackIR, that reacts to turbulence or your G-forces in the cockpit, and you hear the rambling, and well, that's interesting. So it's and also xEnviro is off, I think. Yeah, it's off. So this is just default weather. So I would expect to see some turbulence indications in the METAR or in the ATIS, which I didn't see or on ForeFlight. So that was a bit surprising. I don't know what's going on here. I don't think it's me. Or is it? There's not a software running here that's messing me up, I guess. Thank you, Scotty, and thank you for being on the stream again. Thank you. No Pizza Glory, awesome as always. Thank you, guys. Thanks. And again, Discord. I know I've repeated it quite often in this stream. I won't in the next stream, but because it's new, I've got a Discord channel. And I'd like as many of you guys, especially when you're serious about flight simming like I am, or like to aspire to be at least here in my flight sim, to come over at my hangar on Discord. Follow that link, that purple link there, pink link. And you will get right to Discord. Discord is a nice platform, online platform with a desktop application or an iOS application, or for your Android. It's a really gorgeous, it's a really nice platform, kind of like a Skype online, but Skype for gaming with a lot more. So you can do text chat, but also voice chat. You can also really build a community. So there are many communities, and many of the streamers on Twitch have their own Discord server. Apparently, I didn't know, but I discovered that recently. And so I thought that's an interesting idea, because we can chat also off stream. And I will do news of the channel. There are also some nice free goodies over there. A checklist that I made that you can download for free. We can share screenshots of nice flights. So if you're into the Uncertified Pilot, hop over to the Discord. And you're very, very welcome there to share your passion of flight sim training there as well. Also, what I'd like to do as an addition to Discord, and Keith, I don't know if you're still here. What I also like to do are two things, especially for my iRating stuff, because I'm now currently still preparing. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Ian or Lan. I don't know who you cannot quite read, but thanks. Welcome on board. In preparation of my IFR training, because I'm currently still busy with my CAT ratings, that's the real hard, I guess, on my training. Then I think it's going to be quite difficult to understand all that stuff, and also to apply that here in the flight sim. I like to do two things. PilotEdge offers remote coaching. and I've never seen one. Bambina, thank you for your donation. Thank you so much. Very encouraging. Thanks. It goes into the jar of money I'm saving up for Mireille, my girlfriend, to do her first flight lesson in the real world at a local airport here in the Netherlands. She's really, really excited about flying, so I really start to nurture that interest. So any money for that jar is very, very much appreciated. Thank you. But I'd like to do a remote coaching session. Thanks, 777, for following. Remote coaching session, which PilotEdge offers. So you get a full certified CFI, imagine that, here with you, I guess also through Discord or through Skype. Keith, whispers quietly, IFR is simpler than VFR in many ways. Well, that doesn't seem to me right now, but perhaps that's the case. But remote coaching, a real CFI, well, also as part of the PilotEdge team, that will train you, instruct you like a real instructor here in the flight sim. So I guess that person will then also connect to my Discord channel, I think. And I can stream that flight with you guys, which I think is really, really awesome. So perhaps one of the first flights we could do by remote coaching. That's a first, which I think is really cool. I've never seen a remote coaching flight before yet. So I'm curious to know how that works. Secondly, I know that many of you guys are much more knowledgeable about IFR flying, also flying in general. I also know that many real-world flyers are watching the channel, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. But as you know, my primary purpose of my channel is not really to show off my flight skills or to teach you. I'd like to gather as much people around me that know more about flying than me, so you guys can teach me. And I think that's also quite educational for anyone who's also watching. So as a step up to that, rather than just a chat and just streaming, also through that channel, I met a lot of you guys. I'm also inviting those of you who are very knowledgeable about flying to jump into a private voice channel thing on my Discord, which I already made, which I called Instructors. So some of you can perhaps also mentor me while I'm flying on stream. So I just have a second additional set of eyes and a mentor that can guide me through my training, which I think is really, really nice. So as through my first episode up to now, it's all been self-training. Excel, thank you for following. Welcome. I'm doing this all by myself, right? I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, also on the PilotEdge channel that Keith made about VFR flying, and I'll also do the same with IFR flying. We'll also stream that as well here on the stream, which is all great. It's all ground school stuff. But I would also like to have some training while I'm flying. For example, the clock that I'm always forgetting about. I'm always forgetting about the clock. I need an instructor who can just punch me in the face and really drills and practice some of that stuff. And I guess with IFR training, there will be a lot of things to do. So I think that would be quite beneficial and also fun to stream. So if any of you like that, Keith, turn left, turn right. Yeah. If any of you feels up for that task, let me know. Drop your ideas here in the lobby here in my Discord channel. We can see what we can do. I think it's fun. I mean, the channel is all about training. I think that learning flying is the most exciting dimension to flying at all. For me, it's not at all about showing off a perfect landing or a perfect takeoff. Actually, though, that's also why it takes so much time to do my CAT ratings. I really like that achievement, that progress, that incremental kind of approach towards my flight simming hobby. It's the learning bit that excites me, and also showing my vulnerability as a student pilot, and that making failures or failing to complete a CAT rating or to do mess ups on stream is exactly what the fun is all about, right? It's the joy of not knowing. It's the joy of not being able to touch down perfectly yet. So in that spirit, I think it's also fun to expand the channel a bit. And if any of you guys feel comfortable and comfortable with jumping in that voice channel here on the stream and would like to mentor me during my streams, that's much appreciated. So let me know on the Discord channel. Keith, I'm very happy with the 2 rules of punching you and hurling face with you. Awesome, Keith. Well, that will be an honor. But I also like to check with the remote coaching as well, because I know you offer that as well as part of PilotEdge, and I'm not really looked into that, of how that works, which seems very exciting to me as well. Also to showcase to all the people watching, because I think that is really the true, it's not really the true power of PilotEdge, but it does provide a really nice package to get some real training, and it's so much more cheaper. I mean, you only pay for the instructor rather than for the fuel and for the landing fees and taking up an entire day for just doing a few traffic patterns or some IFR training. It's such an efficient and I guess also therefore a much more effective way of training. So that's it's really great, and I think also will interest a lot of people who are watching the channel. Guys, enough chat here. Let's look at the landing. Right. Disconnected. Away. Let's have a look. So let me recall what happened. Oh yeah, I was ballooning a bit, and that was perhaps also because of the winds, but because I was quite high up, I was descending a bit too quick, so I kept on a lot of airspeed, and once I was near the ground, I needed to get rid of that airspeed, and so it took quite long for me to flare over the runway before I initially touched down. So I should have been slower on my approach. Let's have a look. With my door open. First, already we have some time here just to look at the entire thing. So yeah, there we came, right on track. Well, it's perfect. I guess navigation-wise, it was very, very nice. But it was a surprise to me, also by Kima and Keith, that on flight following I shouldn't be that worried about those deltas there, Chino and I don't know what the other airport was, because apparently on flight following I could just transition through. But in any case, what I'd like to avoid is switching frequencies, because I didn't have time to then switch to tower S4 transition, and on the other end, when I came out of the delta, then do switch over to the tower of Ontario, blah blah blah. So that's why I like to stay as clean with my frequencies as possible. Okay, there I came. So you can see grabbed into the wind to the right. I wasn't that aware of that I was grabbing to the right actually. I did notice the windsock over there showing me that the winds were coming from the right. They were calm while I listened to the ATIS. So you can see quite high, but I knew that I would like to touch down over there, so that's fine. But here I already removed throttle power. And that's not something that you do 50 feet above the ground. That's what you do just before you flare, right? So now I'm losing, I'm not really losing airspeed, but I'm going down quite quick. Still have a lot of airspeed. So now I need to flare and wait until my airspeed drops below 60 knots. And then stuff happens, as you can see. A little bit of a ballooning. Ballooning. You see how much airspeed? I have so much energy. And there I went, but on center line. Now let's see if I also landed with a bit of a forward slip, because then we can really throw a party. Crabbed, as you can see, a bit to the right. It's okay. Yeah, so a lot of energy. Oh, ballooning. Energy. Also, the runway is a bit sloped, so it tries to escape me. Well, no. My right wheel should have touched first in a correct slip. Not the left one, because in my left position... Yeah. And now, whoop. So the danger here is that in this position, when the winds are coming here from the right, wind could blow under my wing, right? So there could be a chance now that we could roll over if there would be a large, strong gust of wind. So to prevent that from happening, your forward slip should be exactly the inverse. Your right wheel should touch down, so the winds are coming on your roof, right? And that will push you down on the ground. So this is not good. It's not good. Boom. As you can see, then my nose was a bit to the right, so I needed to steer to get back on center line. But overall, with turbulence, it was fine. But it's always good. nice just to look at this landing stuff. What? So pretty. Let me see. Lip. Screen sharing. Oh, that goes with screen sharing. Okay. And so they see. Okay, that's interesting. Shared cockpits is technically an option, but aside from being hard to set up, it's actually not ideal for coaching and instruction. That's great for cockpit resource management, right? But as an instructor, I need to know what you are looking at. Hence, I need to see your screen, right? And a webcam, ideally, right? Lex, is the door open in case you want to jump out quickly? Keith, I need to know if you pan down to the radio stack or autopilot while we're in a turn and coming up on an assigned heading. Ah, so is that also something that the remote coach is looking at? So while you are flying, it's not only about how you control the airplane, but the coach is also monitoring how you look in the cockpit through the webcam. So you should also use a webcam. That's interesting. With shared cockpit, I can do that. Keith, so we made a specific decision not to use the shared cockpit for remote coaching. Very, very interesting, Keith. Viper, he made the whole flight with the door open. Monthly ball, that sounds amazing. Yeah, it does. Okay. Still like to look at the departure as well. Quickly. There we were on John Wayne. Scenery is loading. Not that the departure was that exciting, but that was at Charlie, right? No. Nope. Nope. Navajo, thank you for donating, guys. That's really, really encouraging. Thanks. Means a lot. Jump over to the Discord channel. Join my hangar. We can chat. Thanks. Okay. There we go. With the door open. So as you can see, a little bit of a turn there to the right. There we go. So I immediately noticed the turbulence and I thought, oh my gosh, there we go again. So fuel hurdles here. This is a big one coming up. So look at this. Now what I am interested about, which should be part of my departure, is I didn't actually inspect the windsock before I went off. So I did look at the ADIS. I listened to the ADIS. Well, it's not that that is that much gusty winds. There is a bit, but it's not really telling me anything about the weather that was up ahead. Okay, so yeah, it was a big surprise, that turbulence. And in my departure, yeah, so 330 here. I heard that I could do my own thing, and I could also start a descent through. And I went all the way down, hit that that needle here to Paradise. Perfect. Perfect. One thing is that what Keith mentioned was I could be a little more brief on the radios, which really, really interests me. But that's something for next time. Uncertified pilot. Let's see. It's a nice... this is a nice picture. In the cockpit. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining here on the stream. This was such a nice flight. It was challenging though. But as you can see, a short range flight can be as challenging and as fun and as educational as a long distance flight. So and that's what the LA area is all about. John Wayne, Ontario, Burbank. Great airports to do a lot of ADC and stuff. quite dense flights, which I really, really like. Thank you for all the kind donations, guys, and the follows. Really means a lot. Again, Discord. My new Discord channel, if you're into this channel, if you like serious flight training with a flight sim, hop over to Discord, follow that channel. You can also find it here on my channel page. Hop over and come join the fun, and we can chat in the lobby and share all that is flight sim related. Vega, good to see you as well in the stream. Kimo, guys, thank you so much again for your compliments. Keith, thank you for being here and doing some instruction. Yeah, I'm really looking forward for some coaching there on the stream. That would be really, really awesome. And giving some punches in the face. We should make some kind of alert for that, I guess, on the stream, or something that we can make fun with. But anyway, thanks for your compliments, acknowledgements, and your knowledge and wisdom as always. Guys, see you on the next stream. I don't know when, but we're gonna keep flying in Charlie's because I'm preparing for my Cat 7 rating, which I think I'm already quite prepared for. But I'd like to continue with my curriculum, with my training program before I do. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. Happy flights. Blue skies, hoping to see you all very, very soon. Bye.
Palm Springs Tower, Skylane, Hotel Tango, Mike is 10 miles north of the airport at 3000. Information X-ray for a full stop, landing on 3 left if that's available.
Hotel Tango, Indy Link, Palm Springs Tower, squawk 6250.
6250.
Hotel Tango, Indy Link, Palm Springs altimeters 2985 radar contact. About 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31. You're requesting straight up for 13.
If that's available, yes please.
Correction, Papa Hotel Tango, Indy Mike, make straight in runway 13 left and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango, Indy Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance plus 4658 is type PC12 slam code, request clearance to Vegas S5.
Plus 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you S-file. I'll be full route sailing. Plus 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas airport. VFI Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs. Victor 370 to 29 Palms. Victor 538. Cresso. Then a Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 2405 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.7, squawk 6316.
Dallas 4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3, initially climb 7,000, expected for 0F25, departure 167, so box 316 plus 465.
Plus 4658, reback is correct. Tango to Mike, taxi to ramp, yeah, go ahead and frequency.
Taxiing to the ramp, via Echo, remaining on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango, Indy Mike.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 227 Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237, Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left, traffic, left downwind runway 26, left before base.
And left downwind 26 left before you base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United 242, on the visual for 20 right, will be turning for a right base starting.
United 242, John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170.3.
Clear to land, right, land.
Here 520 Kilo Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 11. Number 237, Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land, 7 Charlie Alpha.
Palm Springs ground plus 4658 east ramp with weather